For this Hourglass Quilt Block, I have made some written set of instructions over on my Faodail blog, so I am going to link that down in the description box down below. So if you are somebody who likes to read the instructions, then you have a set of instructions by you when you are watching my video. To make the Hourglass Quilt Block, you're going to need 2 pieces of square fabric. For this tutorial, these 2 square sections are 5 inch and 3/4 by 5 inch and 3/4 because it's a square, and I've got 2. And this particular quilt block, the Hourglass Quilt Block, is much better if you use 2 high contrasting sections of fabric. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have over 500 videos on quilting and sewing tutorials. And don't forget to hit that bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. You're going to place both pieces of fabric right sides together. Now, if you have a pattern on one of them, then that's going to be right sides. So it's going to be face down, touching each of them. So right sides together. And we are going to create some markings, so I am going to do it on the lighter side of the fabric so I can see the markings. For this, I'm just going to use a regular pencil because we don't really see the lines anyway. And I'm just going to get my quilting ruler and I'm going to put this down on my fabric, and we're going to go diagonal to diagonal. I'm going to make sure that the ruler doesn't slip on us, and I'm just going to go straight down the middle, making a mark right down the centre of this block. So that is your line. Now we're going to do another 2 lines, and using this ruler, I'm going to use this line here, which is 1/4 inch from the edge of the ruler, and then that's 1/4 inch in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rest that central line on this 1/4 inch of this ruler, and I'm going to make another marking onto my fabric. So this 1/4 inch line is going to rest onto the line that we just did, and I'm going to draw another line parallel that will now be 1/4 inch away from that first central line, like so. And then we're going to turn the block all the way around, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to rest our ruler right there at that 1/4 inch mark, and we're going to measure 1/4 inch away from this central line. So here you can see that is, oh, I just moved it a second there. There we go, it's all resting. So that central line is right here, and I'm now going to mark 1/4 inch away from that. I'm going to lift my ruler up again. So there we go, we have 3 markings on this particular block. Now what we're going to do is, on these 2 outside lines, we are going to sew a straight stitch all the way down on both sides here. We are not sewing down the central line. Don't sew down the central line. Just sew on the 2 outside lines here and here. So as you can see, we have sewn down these 2 outer lines. Now we are going to cut along this central line. Don't worry if you can see parts of this fabric, because we'll be squaring that up later on. And then you're going to open these out, and you're going to take them to your iron and you're going to press them. And I recommend that you press the fabric to the darker side here. You're going to have these little things here called dog ears. You're just going to take your scissors or your rotary cutter and just cut them away. So essentially you now have two half square triangles. We're now going to put these together, right sides together, and we're going to do it on the opposing colours of the triangles. So if you look here, I have my beige matching my green, and I have my green matching my beige. So it has to go on the opposite sides, and this is why it's definitely better to use high contrasting colours when doing a particular block. Now we're going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to place them markings on this particular quilts block, the Hourglass Quilt Block, and we're going to go the opposite way. So you see how we have this sewn line here, you're going to do it on the opposite side of the diagonal. I'm going to match the corner to the corner and do my first centre marking. So that's my first centre marking. I'm now going to do the same thing, take my quilting ruler, and I'm going to line it up, this central marking, to this 1/4 of an inch on my ruler here. So I'm just going to place it down, and it's right over that central marking, like so. And I am going to place this line right next to it. I'm going to place my ruler right over the top. So that is my 1/4 of an inch line here, and I'm going to mark a 1/4 of an inch away on this diagonal. And then I have my 3 lines again. So I'm going to do the same thing like we did before, and I am going to sew along these outside edges here and here. Now as you can see, we have the 2 stitched lines on the outside, and this central line is the one we cut. So I'm going to cut this away, and now you're going to end up with 2 hourglass quilt blocks. So I'm going to open these up and I'm going to press. And then once again, we have these dog ears at the corners, so we're going to have to cut these away. Now I'm going to square these up so they end up being 4.5 inch square, like these ones. That's how you make an hourglass quilt block. And in next week's video, I'm going to show you a placemat on what we can make with this hourglass quilt block. So don't forget to subscribe and click on that bell so you don't miss next week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.